And I'm like, okay. And as we start walking, I'm like, wow, it's awfully hot in this black spandex unitard. And the next thing I know, stuff starts falling off of me. And I'm like, oh, goodness, what am I doing? I don't have any repair kit whatsoever. And so the guys that I'm with are helping me pick up pieces. And that's when they said, oh, we got a nickname for you now. I was like, what? And they go, TK Bust-A-Lot. As I went.
Sanding. Sand everything.
The right and wrong ways to sand?
Only counterclockwise. That's the only right way.
I disagree fully. I sand left-handed. I sand clockwise.
I sand Australian. It's got to be counterclockwise.
Only if it's in the southern hemisphere. Then you can sand counterclockwise. In the northern hemisphere, you sand clockwise.
No, we do it counterclockwise, and then we get tired of sanding and we just go like that.
Welcome back to Armor Bites. This is episode 7 or 8 or something like that.
I don't know. Whatever the title said is whatever episode it has, because we're starting to have to use 2 hands to count now, and it's going to get hard pretty soon.
That's right.
Yeah, I can't count much past 9.5.
9 3/4, really.
Yeah, 9 3/4. I'll give it that. That's what she said anyway. All right, I might chair adjusted here a little bit. I feel low. A little low. Yeah.
There we go.
Now you look short.
No, we're roughly
we're right there.
Even eye level.
Right there. But we're also sans faux hawk today.
Yeah.
I'll go faux hawk. How about that?
Mine's not a faux hawk. It's an actual mohawk. A faux hawk is where you don't have a mohawk cut in and you just push it together to make
I'm just sitting here
mohawk.
like delirious tired right now. What else is new? Yeah, go figure. So I guess we'll start with a little bit of update from where we were last week. If y'all been watching the book faces and the Instagrams and all that stuff, you'll see these pictures and whatnot. These are just a couple of things that popped out here recently. We have the Mandalorian, we'll call it the Unichest. Basically just a carapace featured in season 3. I think the dude that was the ship captain or whatever had one of these. But what's really nice, this is another one of the Ken and Leon FX pieces too. What's really neat about this is, yes, it can be worn as a unipiece, but if you want separate chest plates, since it's something we're planning on backforming, just cut it away and make separate chest plates.
Yeah,
that's kind of why we did it.
Real simple.
It's just super simple. It's easy to do. So you'll have
the Gorget.
Yeah, a little collar,
Gorget.
and there'll be some printed shoulder studs that go up there too. That's one cool little thing right here. James is holding the season 3 Din Djarin Mandalorian Beskar backplate. This is another one from Chameleon. He's actually got some mounts here. There's some separate parts that'll go on here for mounting jetpacks. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I looked at that and immediately went, that's jetpack mounts.
Pretty cool. Like those kind of details.
Now, these are going to be ABS.
Yeah, these can be back formed. There's no reason to do these printed.
So I don't know if the camera's picking it up, but like the little seam where the 3D prints were glued together and sanded, people won't be getting that. They'll be getting single piece.
Right, just single piece. It's just too simple of a shape. And then like once you get the other parts on top here, you'll be able to screw into the back side of it or bolt it straight through if you want to. Put a washer back there, and that'll be more than enough to hold up a jetpack. Hopefully here within a couple weeks, y'all will see some jetpacks sitting right here too. I've been kind of playing with those files on the side. Something else y'all may have seen are these Super Commando gauntlets. These are ones from Big Fred's Customs.
We had these in pieces on the table on the last episode.
Oh, we did?
I'm not sure how much.
Okay, well, here they are again. Whatever.
Well, this is them assembled.
Yeah,
so.
They're not even really assembled. They're just, again, just little wedgie thingies, and they'll have the red details, and the whistling bird rocket pew pew thing is it's all keyed in here. Pretty cool stuff.
I love the detail on these.
I know. I really like these.
Last week when we filmed, like the piping and the insets and things like that.
Yeah.
Detail on these is really good.
Yeah, I just really like these in general. They're fun gauntlets. They're real. I don't know. They're a unique shape, but they have very similar shapes. Like this is similar to the Din or the Boba Fett's, and I mean, I guess again they're just Mando gauntlets. If we want to get cool and crazy later on, we can do things like, since this is supposed to be a right gauntlet, we could mirror it to make it a left gauntlet, and bam, use it for a custom Mando. Yay!
Yeah, that's kind of one of the beauties of the Mando Club is the freedom to do a lot of
right.
that stuff.
And it's funny because when we were coming back from Celebration Orlando in 2017, we were really talking about wanting to get in and do Mandalorian stuff. We just felt like it was going to be the future. Started with one thing and then got distracted with something else. And here we are 6 years later, really doing it at this point. We even hosted.
I'm remembering to turn my ring and notification
good job.
volumes off suddenly.
Yeah, good job.
So that if somebody texts me in the middle of us filming.
We even hosted a armor party here this past weekend for our local Mandalorian Mercs Club, the Drexel clan. So actually, I think my chair pistons just busted.
Oh, you sunk.
Yeah, I sunk.
I
sunk.
Yeah,
We sunk again.
That's all right.
So yeah, we're probably getting a little bit more heavily involved with that, and I like the custom aspect of it.
Yeah. Well, what was his name? There was Steve and.
Yeah, there was Steve, Brad. Brad was the tall guy.
Brad, okay.
Yeah.
He's the one I'm thinking of. He was talking about the modularity of the, being able to set up your kit how you like it, because he was former military, and that's, over the years, that's one of the things I've harped on relentlessly is in the military, most of the time you have freedom to adjust a lot of stuff on your kit.
To an extent, I mean, I 100% agree with that, but like, are you up to date on Andor? Have you watched it?
Only to the end of the first season.
Well, okay. Well, I just got through
I didn't know if they've released a new.
No, not a new one.
I watched Andor. I really enjoyed it.
Episode 7, whenever he went to the beach planet, was a tourist, and the shore troopers are there, and they decide to arrest him. So the shore trooper that's talking to him, he has basically squad leader chest, squad leader shoulder belts, but he's wearing a grunt or captain belt with the pistol holster on it.
I did not notice.
Yeah.
That.
Oh, I paused it immediately. First time watching it, I paused it, looked at it, and went, well, that's pretty much a squad leader chest. The paint was the same design, but like his shoulder straps are kind of over it instead of just meeting flush. Okay. But I paused it, looked at it, and went, I didn't want to do blue. I wanted to do just a plain grunt. But you know what? I'll do him. But it's the same point you just made. Like, maybe that trooper went to the armory and just got a different belt and didn't feel like wearing his camo that day.
From a real world perspective,
your loadout's going to be what you need to go into field or that.
It's unit by unit. Some units at battalion level, your battalion commander or battalion sergeant major or whatever, speaking for the Army, that's what my experience was in. They may say you will have these certain objects in certain locations on your kit, things like your IFAC, whatever, something that they feel it's important for standardization. However, there's always lots more gear, and you will always be able to place it where it works best for you, because what works best for me may not work the best for you.
Like you being left-handed, you're going to want to reload a different way than a right-hander is going to reload.
I can understand, when they're doing, for 501st CRLs as an example, if they say, okay, hey, these certain things need to be in this specific location. Okay, that's fine. An example would be the Death Trooper belt pouches. If they said, hey, we want this pouch or these couple of pouches located in these specific spots. The other pouches, it's kind of, there's room for personalization. There's room for, I like having, for just to throw out a random example, let's say I like having 3 of the fabric pouches on my left-hand side so that when I'm in costume holding my rifle, I can reach those 3 pouches that have my wallet or my smokes or my phone or whatever, because I use those functional pouches on my Death Trooper. And so it's like, why can't we, where's the harm in a little bit of flexibility? Where's the harm in a little bit of customization?
We already know they have the belt buckle, they have the 2 pouches, they have the holster. That's the way it kind of goes around. You got the rear pouch. Why not just stay the same in the front and put a couple extra pouches on the side?
Yeah.
You know, that makes more sense to me for functionality, because we were actually talking about this a little bit last week. Where do we put our stuff in costume?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That was an idea we need to
It
flesh
is.
out
But
more.
we've actually already gone, well, we're kind of almost there right now, is, you know, customization of kit
Yeah.
and the way you want to customize it.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
And that's a beautiful thing that the Mandos get that, you know, the 501st doesn't to,
when
to a
I
large extent.
when I ordered my leather belt and holster, he made a specific pouch, and this one's from Darman's Props, that looks like a double pouch, but it's just 2 snaps and a big open compartment in it, made for holding cell phones.
A faux single pouch.
Right.
Yeah.
And I was like, I like
Or
that.
a
That's
faux
going to come in
double, I guess.
handy. I don't have to carry a bag. I don't have to carry anything extra.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
at least have, you know, key fob, money, ID.
Yep.
You know, that's 3 things that you absolutely have to have.
Actually, the 405th guys have that as well. Barry was telling us about that when we had him.
Yeah.
All the
Just
flexibility.
extra
that-
stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they have no problem with flexibility and personalization. They embrace that idea fully.
Yeah, just having pockets available. Now I know why women get so happy when they get skirts with pockets.
I know. Functional pockets.
Yeah, functional pockets.
This is something my wife was complaining about. I don't know how many women watch this podcast, but I take it that the fake like half pocket is an absolute scourge. Where they'll have a pocket, but it's a pocket that you can only get like up to your first knuckle.
Yeah,
You know, or the second.
and meanwhile,
knuckle.
men's pockets, you know, I'm carrying a battleship in one
That's right.
pocket.
I've got a 6 foot deep pocket. You know, I don't know how you know.
I just keep pulling stuff out like magic tricks.
That's right.
It's magic.
Yeah. Functional pouches, functional pockets on uniforms that's definitely something that we can go into today or another day. It doesn't matter.
No,
to me.
well, we're kind
We
of
need to
there.
get to our guest
We're kind of
today,
there.
so
Okay, so we have a guest coming in
Yeah,
today.
yeah.
He's our backup guest. Our original guest canceled on us, so
Yeah.
just want to make sure he feels real good about that. You know, we only talk this bad about people we know really well and have really long time. So I'm sure when he goes back and watches this later, he'll just laugh. Aha, you're so funny. Yeah, whatever. It's the way we treat each other around here.
See,
All right, we'll bring him in. Kevin!
Kevin!
Yeah, come on in.
Open the door.
Yeah,
Come on in,
open the
Kevin.
door. All right, so we're welcoming Kevin in for his guest appearance. We'll ask you some of our few questions. Kevin, how long have you, been in this little shindig of dressing up like a plastic spaceman?
Oh, good Lord.
Yeah, we lose those brain cells over time. Can't even
Alzheimer's
remember
dementia kicking
anymore.
in.
Okay, Joe.
Probably what? Since 97, 98,
Yeah.
roughly? Good. Yeah, about since then.
And what made you want to dress up as plastic spacemen?
I was actually in college at that time, and we were all stressing going through the ad lab, and we were just going, hey, look, episode 1's coming out. We were just talking about the trailer. And so to pass the time and keep our sanity while we were spending from 7 a.m. until about midnight working on our ad projects for school, we just started watching Star Wars all the time. And I was like, I remember watching this as a kid. I loved it. Everything was great. And I'm like, this would be really cool to go ahead and get, that outfit. And I just happened to look up online and I saw someone selling armor. And I was like, you're kidding me. They're selling armor?
WookieeCantina.com.
Armor FX.
WookieeCantina.com.
Exactly. And that was my first set of armor, was the Armor FX suit. And I remember getting it in. I was actually I had been playing paintball religiously, and I sold my paintball marker to get my first set of Stormtrooper armor.
God, that's so funny. It's like our stories are so similar. You sold your paintball stuff. I sold my 1993 Gibson Les Paul wine red with black pickguard and gold hardware. Not that I missed that guitar or anything.
Or that you're haunted by that memory, apparently.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell you which paintball marker. No, it was an
Yeah.
I think I had an Angel paintball marker at that time.
I love that guitar, and I can't find it again.
Yeah.
It's got to be a 93. Has to be. New Gibsons suck.
But yeah, that's
Sponsor us, Gibson.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Raid Shadow Legends.
But yeah, that was it. I got the armor in, and I started working on it. I learned real fast not to follow those directions because Velcro and Florida heat.
Oh yeah.
Because those,
sticky back
and I
Velcro.
remember those directions very well. Nowhere in those directions does it say to sand.
None.
None.
or to use any
And-
extra adhesive.
Well, they included ABS glue. And if you'd never
but
used
not to
ABS
hold
glue
the
before,
Velcro in place.
No.
which this was like the infancy of the internet at that time too. So like ABS glue, what does it do? Well, it's cement. So you got to put it on both sides. You got to wait a little bit for it to tack up, and then you put it together, and then you clamp it and walk away.
Well, anybody who had built model kits knew that. Like as a kid, I built model kits, and I knew what model cement was, and the fact that it wasn't a glue, it was a solvent that would actually liquidize the plastic, and it would allow the two plastic objects to chemically bond as one solid plastic piece. So when I started getting into the 501st, I knew ABS cement is only, just instinctually, ABS cement is only going to work with two ABS pieces. It won't work, for example, say,
styrene,
or for a strip of Velcro,
And PVC cement doesn't work on ABS.
Inadvertently, that's how I ended up getting my nickname was TK Bust a Lot. As I went to MegaCon and we parked in the Orange County parking garage and had to walk to the convention center. And keep in mind, I had just put that armor together like the day before. And I'm like, okay. And as we start walking, I'm like, wow, it's awfully hot in this black spandex unitard. And the next thing I know, stuff starts falling off of me. And I'm like, oh, goodness, what am I doing? I don't have any repair kit whatsoever. And so the guys that I'm with are helping me pick up pieces. And that's when they said, oh, we got a nickname for you now. I was like, what? And they go, TK Bust a Lot. And that has stuck ever since.
And this was really before we knew even, maybe Super Glue and Accelerator really didn't exist then.
We didn't use that.
It did, but it was only available in tiny bottles.
Yeah,
you could only get the little tiny
got
tubes for
introduced
building model kits.
To me
and
in
things.
like 03, I think, give or take.
As the larger bottles?
Just in general, I
okay.
remember.
I only remember.
I
the
remember
larger
who showed
bottles
it
for
to
the
me.
past
He was like,
10
"Hey, look
years
at
or
this,"
so.
and he like put some super glue down between two pieces of plastic, squirted it, handed it to me, and said, "Here, try to pull this apart." I was like, "What is this stuff?" You know, I've been addicted to it like crack ever since.
Well, they gave me hot glue, which I don't
He
recommend.
means addicted to using it, not addicted to huffing it. Don't go huff super glue. Good God, that's so bad.
My parents did take all my model kit stuff away from me as a kid because they thought I was huffing it. Like, no, I'm not. I'm just putting models together.
Yeah.
It stinks in here. It's my bedroom.
Yeah, it's a teenager's
Where else am I
bedroom. What
supposed to do
expect?
this?
Yeah. Yeah, and hot glue doesn't work either because that's what I was using to try to hold stuff on. And that burns when it makes skin contact, and then it sticks to the bodysuit. And then, once again, you're in Florida heat. So hot glue is going to go down because you're melting glue.
Yeah, this was summer in Orlando, Florida.
Right.
So, yeah.
So stuff still kept falling off, and I was like, yeah, after that, I have to go to the Snap Mod afterwards. And I went to the Snap Mod, didn't really have any issues after that.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
And I still have that suit today. That's the one that I have out there.
Yeah. And of course, 15 years later, you try pulling the Velcro off, and now it won't come off.
Well, that's because I put super glue on the back of it. Speaking of, you can't do ABS glue. I found that out. You can't. So I was like, all right, I got to keep this Velcro on. So I super glued the Velcro on there, and I was like, it's not going anywhere. Well, when it got time, I was like, as my knowledge of building suits got more, I'm like, I can just glue the two pieces together. Oh, wait a minute, there's Velcro there. I'll just get the Velcro off.
yeah,
Mike and I sat there. We're like, this ain't coming
Scraping
up.
it with
We were
chisels.
scraping with a chisel, and then I start cutting into plastic. I'm like, stop. Okay, now
just-
what do we do?
Yeah. Now
Take
you
it to
need
the
cover
belt
strips.
sander and just sand the Velcro away.
We did that. We were doing that too. But here's the thing: the glue on the back of the Velcro got superheated and then coagulized, and then started turning into a gummy paste that wouldn't come off of anything.
And then you break the acetone out, and it all melts.
And exactly. So yeah, we was like, hey, just get the acetone and see if we can get the stuff off. And I'm like doing this, and I'm like, why is the plastic
Melting
doing
yes.
this now? What's going on here?
Yeah.
Oh, so yeah, that was a lesson learned.
Now we just throw it all away and make new.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, see, but that's also when because I had a clean white TK, and I was like, it's time to go dirty now. Hide all the imperfections.
Yeah.
And honestly, so I'm like, hey, Mike actually weathered my TK, and then I found out how he did it. Besides the whole polish and Windex and stuff like this, He's skipping it across the floor in the back,
Out the
going,
shop,
"Oh, there's
yeah.
Well, there's dirt on the floor,
There's
and
dirt
it
on the
hits
floor.
all the high points.
He's like, he goes, this is how we're going to weather everything. We started throwing it across the floor. And I'm like, holy, what? You know, it's just hitting and bouncing. You're like, oh, that's a pretty good nick. Look at
That's
this.
right.
That
Yeah, it
little
looks
dirt
like a
mark.
really
It
good
looks
scratch across
good.
there. Yeah.
You know?
Oh, hell, I wore clone armor for the longest time with a blood streak right across it.
Oh,
Actual blood from my thumb. So,
from the
whatever.
sole?
Yeah, the saw thumb, I was bleeding. I think that was Dragon Con 05. I just like wiped it off or something. Like, oh, I got blood. Okay, it's staying. The stories you tell after you've been doing this, you know, the entirety of someone's life.
Yeah, that's the joke we were making was, you know, we've been costuming longer than a lot of cosplayers today have been alive,
Right.
you know?
That are currently in, yeah.
Yeah. Well, in the 501st or just costumes in
Just,
general.
yeah,
In
just
general, right, right.
You know, you go to conventions these days and it's like, my God, is this like a daycare? Like, I hate to be that guy. I am that guy.
yeah.
I'm looking around. I'm like, where are your parents?
That's when we get the Walker costume and the cane and like, get off
Yeah,
my
they're probably looking at us
line!
going, well, where are your parents? Like, well, we're old. They're probably in a nursing home right now.
Yep.
Hey.
One's dead. The other one's, you know, living with family because she can't take care of herself.
I had one of them call me, hey, Gramps, the other day. I'm like, what?
Well, you are Grandpa.
No, like, is at work, you know, one of the persons at work where they look at me and go, hey, Gramps, how you doing today? I'm like, who are you talking to? Well, you. No, I'm not. No.
Laugh all you want, kids. You'll reach this point yourselves one
Right.
day.
Start thinking about the youth is wasted on the young. It doesn't mean what you think it means now.
Right.
But it means so much
course, it does-
more.
It really does.
It does make
My
getting into
God.
armor that more difficult whenever you're kind of like, oh, I can't really move right now.
Well,
But sometimes when you get it on, it like acts as back braces.
Yeah,
And you feel better.
Well, there's 2 points there that, you know, putting the armor on is problematic, but as you age, you find ways to assemble the armor that make it easier to put on. Like
Yeah.
your tolerance
Right.
for the finickiness of certain suits of armor or costumes, it's inversely proportional to your age. You know, your age goes up, your tolerance for that finickiness on the costume craters, and you find ways of doing things so that you don't have to deal with that shit. And as somebody with a spinal injury, yes, 100%. There are times where I'm in costume that I'm like, I've been standing for 3 hours straight. If I were not in this costume, I would have physically collapsed by now. My legs would have gone numb or too painful. It would not have happened.
Make that abdomen tighter.
exactly.
Align that spine.
Yeah, cinch the abdomen down and you know, make sure the torso, the upper torso fits well so that everything is upright and in line and in place and stays that way.
Now let's just keep showing our age here. So, like a few months ago, whenever I wore my Doomslayer and I got out of it, I was so sore. And then I woke up in the morning, I was ridiculously sore.
Yeah.
But I got to the convention, I put on my Stormtrooper armor. I wasn't sore anymore.
Yeah.
I didn't understand. I could not explain it. It's like I felt good and normal again. It's like it pushed down on your bones or something and made things
it forces
fit
everything
again.
in line. Yeah.
It was a very
Forces you to
strange
stand with your spine straight,
experience.
erect, all that.
It's
you know?
also weird having to explain why you have all these bruises in areas that you probably shouldn't have bruises.
Oh, that's just
Oh,
the,
yeah,
that's just
yeah.
the heroin. That's
yeah,
all.
I know, right?
Yeah.
As
It was like,
somebody in
hey,
the medical world,
Kevin, do we need to have, yeah, I know, it's someone in the medical world. You got people coming up going, do we need to have a conversation about something?
We're sending
what
you
are
down to the
talking
lab right now.
about? Right. Hey, just here, take this cup with you, and on your way down, stop at the bathroom and just fill it up, and then drop it off while you're
that's
there.
right. Yeah.
What are you talking about? Well, we kind of see something right here, and oh no, that's from wearing armor. Are you a knight? No.
No, I'm a
No,
plastic
right?
spaceman.
No, because I mean, you see the tattoos. It's all Star Wars and stuff, and they're, oh, sure, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Like I said here, just
I'm not a knight, boss. I'm a stormtrooper.
right. So we're gonna have you talk with HR and a counselor on this, and you know we have resources. That's right. Like, what are you talking about
We
here?
can help you. We can
Right.
help you.
I'm going to circle back to where you were saying that y'all were watching Star Wars in the dorms and give y'all a little piece of trivia because this is actually something that we just saw when we saw the Return of the Jedi re-release in the theater. So whenever Vader is at the Death Star at the beginning of the movie and they got the row of troopers and people that are there, look at the jumpsuit brigade guys in black. There's one on the end. I am not kidding you. He is wearing white socks and loafers.
Oh yeah, I think
Yeah.
I saw that pointed out in
He's
a
right
video
there.
somewhere.
So whenever it comes really time for old man costume, no, I'm this guy.
That guy. Well, it's like
I'm wearing loafers.
we're
That's right.
talking about Mandalorian and stuff. The episode where they were in the ICAT trooper outfit, and you saw the shore troopers running on the bridge as they were crossing it. You can actually see several of them in white tennis shoes. The shore troopers.
All right, now I got to
Yeah,
go back and watch an
yeah.
episode again.
Or they're in
That I
all
haven't
black
seen.
boots. Yeah, they're either
the
in
black
white,
boots I can understand
but
because
there
that's
some
part
in
of
white
like
shoes and black shoes. And you're
the
like,
costume department not looking at
Continuity.
Yeah, continuity or daily Polaroids or anything. I don't even know if they do daily Polaroids
Or they
anymore.
just assumed, hey, these guys
You
are going
know,
to be in the background.
yeah,
People
and
aren't gonna
like,
see those little.
They're grabbing all the components and this guy's belt and this guy's shoulder bells and
the upside down knee on the biker scouts.
Yeah,
oh my goodness,
that one infuriates me.
it infuriated me whenever I saw regular troopers that would put their knees on upside down. But seeing it in the show, it was like that was my stand-up point and laugh moment.
I'm wondering if that was an actual.
I think it was.
deliberate
I think
thing.
it was intentional.
Yeah, I've heard that was.
But-
the whatever the actors, I forget their names.
One of them was a comedian. I can't remember his
but
name either.
When they were putting the costumes on, like because they had 501st members there, during as background costumes during some of the filming, and
Jason Sudeikis.
yeah, that's
that
him.
guy.
Yeah.
But yeah, somebody pointed out this was a thing I don't know, watched a video on YouTube and they were talking about it or whatever. But somebody pointed it out to him and he was like, "No, this is how I'm going to wear them because I'm an idiot and it's whatever.
Okay.
I'm gonna
If that's
my
the way
dude's
he
a moron
justifies
and
it,
puts it on
fine.
upside down."
So we have to deal with seeing all that merchandise and everything else from now on with his knees upside down because he wanted to portray being a moron.
It's canon.
Great.
They can't say anything about
Whatever.
it.
Great.
Yeah.
What bothered me more than that, than the knees being upside down, was the cummerbund being squished.
Yeah,
Like
when they're
completely
sitting in the
falling
bikes,
down.
Like, yeah,
Like,
And you
it
see
was
the-
falling
just-
forward. You see
the
the
pouches were
it
off to the
flops open
side.
under the chest plate, and you see the black gap.
Yeah,
there,
that stuff just drives me nuts because it's such easy fixes and normal stuff. But then I'm OCD like that. I'm having an
A little row of
aneurysm right
Velcro.
now.
That's what I had on my Scout. There was a little
Well,
row of Velcro. that
Way back in the day, we
hooked up on the
pioneered
inside of that
vests.
chest.
The biker scout viper.
Ed Poogie, a
Yeah.
costume junkie out of Colorado, we developed some of the first biker scout vests together.
I didn't want to do the vest because it was an extra layer of fabric.
I
and in
100%
Florida heat,
agree.
you already
I
saw
wanted it
yeah.
because I was tired of wearing suspenders with my cummerbund.
Yeah, I didn't
So,
mind the suspenders,
we
though.
pioneered that way back in the day before Pathfinders and Level 3s and all that stuff existed, just because I just wanted to hold up my cummerbund. And I saw the little Boba Fett looking sleeve underneath the shoulder belt one time. Never thought about it being a requirement or any of that. Just
Or like the suede
just
crotch.
how it is.
Once again in Florida heat.
the
Yeah.
suede crotches, the butt flaps. It's whatever. I think we do enough complaining on this show already.
We do. We
We
do
really
more than
do.
our fair share.
It's and they're just,
I like to think we're complaining on behalf of our viewers, though. It's
to
not
an
just us
extent.
complaining.
I know there's
We're
that
voicing
other
all
camp
these people.
of people that say no, it has to be accurate. It's like, I mean, I agree. I do like accuracy, but not to the point of being anal about
Self-destructive.
it. Yeah.
Not to the point of self-destructiveness.
Right.
In Florida heat, you can literally we've all been to events where somebody has been near.
I don't
heat
want to
stroke or
argue with
something
somebody
like that,
about this wrist rocket having let's just say 12 instead of 11 on it.
Oh,
You know,
smart,
just
yeah.
something like that. It's like, because you know what? You're not going to see almost half of them anyway.
You're a millimeter off on this.
Right.
Anyway. It's like, who's going around with a millimeter ruler going, you're off? I mean,
Well, we talked about doing that once, about going to
Yeah,
conventions
yeah.
as the CRL inspection team and handing
Enforcement.
out enforcement.
And
And handing out
because we were gonna hand out
citations.
citations.
And then you got that other girl that's
Absolutely.
popularized herself on TikTok doing the
ticketing and
no, it's the Imperial HR. Human resources.
Okay, I know.
Yeah, she's doing human resources.
She's like, she has like a blonde or white type hair.
She came
and
out probably about 6 months after we had talked
issuing
about
tickets and
doing a
or-
CRL inspection and
Yeah.
handing people tickets and having a
she-
binder full of.
So she does what we talked about. She's got like
Almost.
the CRL that she can.
No, she doesn't do the CRL like we talked about,
yeah.
but it is basically human resources, and like I think I've only watched maybe one of her videos, but she's like really popular.
Okay.
But it was just something along those lines.
So yeah, we weren't the only ones with
And
that
really,
idea that
to
thought
do
that
it,
was something so
it
ludicrous
is
that we needed to mock it.
Just to do it for the absurdity of it.
Yeah.
You know, who's going to a convention and is going to critique you or come up to you and say, I don't want my picture taken with you because you're not level 3.
That's right.
Have a child in tow and go up and start measuring. It's like, he's not a real stormtrooper. Let's go to the next one and see if that one measures up.
Now, we also have to wonder,
Break out your calipers and start measuring their elastic. I'm sorry, your elastic is a full 20 or is a 1 inch, which is 24.5 millimeters instead of a full 25 millimeters. This is not level 2 certified. I'm sorry.
Is that
you
duck cloth
cannot.
or canvas? Because I mean,
is it stretch? Stretch isn't allowed.
No,
No.
Are those pants denim?
Is that a zigzag stitch? No, that's a straight stitch.
Wait a minute. Is that
I'm-
dark
I'm
blue
gonna
or
need you-
navy blue?
I'm going to need you to take off your chest plate so I can see how the hump is mounted to the back of your armor.
But how about all those years we were wrong about Han Solo's jacket in Empire Strikes Back? We all thought it was blue, and it's really brown. But it looks blue in every shot, every scene.
Lighting.
It's just lighting, and the toy was blue, and then you actually see it, and it's brown. You're like, no, it can't be. It's like the Mandela effect all over the place.
Well,
Yep.
I just found out, and I thought that was really interesting. In A New Hope, Luke's outfit when he's in Tatooine, his tan pants is nothing more than bleached Levi's.
Yeah, bleached blue jeans.
Right. I did not know that.
I always
And-
figured they were some kind of karate paint.
No, they
No,
were bleached
they were
Levi's.
bleached out blue jeans, and real quick after filming started, they developed that brownish hue from the dust of the desert. So they're not even a dyed light brown.
They're just dirty.
They're just dirty bleached white blue jeans.
Well, and that's how it should be on Tatooine. Everything should be dirty because, it's sand. It's coarse.
Exactly,
It's gritty.
exactly.
It gets everywhere.
And it's funny that you mentioned, in
Coarse and irritating.
Coarse and irritating.
It's
Oh,
everywhere.
see, the man who can barely remember anything remembers the obscure movie quotes right off the top of his head.
it's funny that you mentioned in the Return of the Jedi the officer in the slippers or something like
Sock
this.
boy.
I mean, Grand Moff Tarkin, when he filmed
Oh,
the
yeah.
scenes, he didn't
Yeah.
wear the boots. He had
Well, they were
He
uncomfortable.
was in like slippers, like house
and
slippers.
house slippers.
Yeah.
That's
Because you only
Peter
see him from the waist
Cushing.
on
Yeah,
up.
yeah,
I'm not going to argue with Peter Cushing.
No.
yeah.
You don't see him? Okay,
You're
wear
fine,
slippers.
too.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Wide shots, hey, you got to put the boots on.
Yeah, but Peter Cushing would have just been like, well, why don't we just not do a wide shot?
Probably. Then you'd call Christopher Lee in, and Christopher Lee would kill you in your sleep.
That's right.
Well, Christopher
like
Lee
6
was,
different ways.
he fought in World War II, and he said
He worked
things like,
for the what is it, the
the
Ministry of
SS.
Ungentlemanly Affairs or whatever.
and he
it
was personal
It was
friends
before it was
with
the,
Ian
SLS.
Fleming, and potentially James Bond may be based off real life Christopher Lee.
There's a couple of
Yeah.
people that they've said
Maybe.
That
could
would
have
be
inspired things.
That would be interesting.
Well, I could see it, but he's also known as saying on set of Lord of the Rings, how many of you have actually stabbed a man?
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
You're like, okay, we need to get away
Well,
from this guy.
There's
the sound.
there's the mystery around it's some of what he says cannot necessarily be proven, but some of what he says, they can look at his records from the war and go, okay, this is a bit of a stretch that this maybe could have ever occurred because of the way his records, we know that he was doing these things in these places during these times, and so, okay, some of it could be exaggeration and some of it might not be, and when he is asked whether he's telling the truth or not, he will never answer that question. He will deflect and let your imagination run wild.
That's the way it should be.
Absolutely.
You can't flesh out the mystery of an entire character, just like Boba Fett. You know, you want a little mystery
Yeah.
in the background so you can put your own headcanon in.
Yeah.
Just so they can come back
A little
later,
bit.
write
But
it
we're
all
not-
in, and
we're not
screw
going
everything
full
up.
on mystery box here where we're never
Well,
going to
it's a
answer.
mystery box. It's a mystery box. JJ.
Yeah, we're not going that far and saying that everything has to be a mystery box, but a little bit of mystery sometimes is a good thing.
All right. So back to Kevin.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, this is what happens.
45 minutes.
45
of
minutes
later.
of just bullshit later. Straight garbage that we talk about. So, you've been doing this forever. We know why. Well, we know how you got in, but why? What's your favorite things to do as a trooper? Or what really keeps you hooked in doing this insane hobby?
Aside from acquiring new costumes, because
mean,
we know
that's-
you go through a new costume about once a month.
It seems
So,
like
yeah, it is
right.
what it seems like. Just sell it already.
I am, and some are on sale. So hey,
So yeah,
I mean,
what got you into it? What keeps you going? You know,
I mean, it's fun. I mean, that's-
Grandpa.
I know, right? So, I mean, I like doing the dress up. I mean, there is that fun of going in and seeing how people react. Like, oh my goodness, there they are. You know,
Yeah.
We only saw it on the screens when I was growing up. We saw it on the screens. It's not like we saw it out there in real life. You know. And now that we're adults and we have adult money, we can act like bigger kids and go, "Hey, I want this."
You guys have money?
No, not anymore. I have kids.
Yeah.
So basically, I was like, I can finally do this, and it's cool. It hurts. Let's be honest. Wearing armor, no matter what you have, is going to hurt, especially if it's not done
so you
correctly.
costume because you're a masochist. Then you enjoy the pain of the armor bites and wearing the costume. That's what you're telling us.
Sure. Okay.
I mean, we're asking you
No,
what
no,
keeps
no.
you costuming, and you're talking
just-
about the pain.
I mean, do you like the faces on the kids? Do you like
like
building things? Do you?
See, now he's trying to make it sound like something it shouldn't. Like faces on the kids, pain, massive kid. Okay.
No, the smiles and
faces-
stuff.
yeah, the smiles on the kids when they
making
see
kids
it's
happy,
real.
making people happy,
them seeing that
making the
it's
special
real.
needs people happy. You know,
we did a lot of it. We did a lot of the fundraiser, but it was also because, I got to start hanging out with some guys that were like-minded like myself. And it was nice to be able to hang around with people that were into the same thing I was. Because when I was growing up, the only people I really had was my brother. I know, right? It was my brothers, and then of course I was in band, so I had my band friends, but we never hung out afterwards. So, there was people that I found that had the same likes that I did, especially like when I was telling you about being in advertising in college. A lot of us were hanging out. We were all I didn't realize how big of nerds they were too. And I was like, hey, this is fun. And then we
this was the time when everyone had to be a closet nerd, though. It wasn't cool.
when it wasn't like
Well,
a fashion thing.
late
I guess.
90s, early 2000s was kind of the beginning of the blossoming of the nerd. It was when being a nerd went from being the sort of thing you had to keep in a closet to you could find groups of friends that you could be a nerd with, and it kind of began that push towards mainstream.
Revenge of the Nerds. It starts coming out that late 80, 90 type stuff. Yeah.
Well,
But I mean, I just started hanging out with some friends and stuff, and it was fun. We'd go to the conventions, we'd hang out at the hotel, we'd hang out after hours, and we started hanging out with some of the movie stars that were just as excited to be around us as we were to be with them. Because some of them were in the movies, but other one of these movie stars, they weren't in those movies, but they would be around people that looked like they were in the movies, and they were geeking out just as much as we were geeking out over them.
Yeah.
I mean, case in point, at Dragon Con, I'm downstairs in the Hyatt, and who walks up to me and go, "Hey, that's a cool costume, David Carradine." I was like, "Oh, hey, don't hit me or something."
that's right.
And
Don't kill me.
right, and we're hanging out, and then of course when I was in Tampa at a convention called Volcon, it was a Star Trek convention that we crashed with Star Wars. I'm standing at the elevator, and I turned to look at the gentleman getting into the elevator with me, and it's none other than Alan Rickman. I think it's Rickman, the Ferris Bueller's Day Off. He played Cameron Fry.
No, that's not Alan Rickman.
Is it Ruckman or Rickman? Alan Ruckman.
Okay.
Alan Rickman is Snape, right?
Yeah, I was gonna
so
say,
it's
that's-
Ruckman.
that's not Alan
He was
Rickman.
the guy that he was also in Star Trek, but he was in the elevator, and I was in a stormtrooper armor and had my son with me, and we were riding in the elevator down. We just got into talking. He's like, "Oh man, I really love Star Wars." Oh, great. I go, "But weren't you in Star Trek?" He's like, "Yes, I was." I was like, "Why don't you get in Star Wars?" And he's like, "Okay." But he was geeking out the fact that I was in armor. I was just geeking out because I was in an elevator with a movie star that everybody knew from Ferris Bueller's Day Off and Twister and stuff like that. And so that's why I got into it, and it just got more and more fun hanging out with friends and then hanging out with some of the movie stars. And then we started taking those same movie stars in the Star Wars to dinner. We started taking
when
Angie and Peter
started getting
and
involved
David
with the 501st
right.
on a big level.
And
Yeah,
we started presenting them with plaques, honorary members. We started taking them out to dinner. We went to Planet Hollywood in Atlanta, and then in Orlando. We got asked to do things. We got asked to be in movies and episodes at that point, and then of course who can forget the big Rose Bowl parade and stuff where everybody was saying, hey, and then we started being asked to be in a lot more higher profile events if we had the appropriate looking type costumes, and all that stuff was like, oh, this is pretty neat, and I got more active and I actually became the Legion PR officer for a good 6 years. Album was the CO, Tim was the XO, and I was the PR officer. And then when Alvin stepped down, Tim took over. This is right around that time Celebration 3 happened, and we went to Indianapolis where
Celebration 3 was
where
nuts.
we ended up having to run it because
my
the
goodness.
people that were supposed to be there didn't show up. And
So the deal with Celebration 3 was we had the very first droid hunt at Dragon Con the year before. Mm-hmm. I ran the awards and the tallying and all that stuff, and then they asked me to run the whole show for Celebration 3. Okay, no problem. I mean, I already knew the ins and outs and the layout of what we were doing. But the lines were so chaotic, disorganized. There was there was just no organization there whatsoever. That's the best way to put it. Like, there were people all over the place, and they didn't know how to get in. But we had troopers that were already out looking for droids on people. So we got on the radios, got our people at the booths to start telling them, like, hey, we're having some functionality issues. When you see people haphazard, get them in line to go into places and then check their badges. And, it kind of set up a communications network. I mean, the infrastructure was already there for it. I know that was 18 years ago.
I found some of those badges still in
I've got a whole box full of them.
Yeah.
My memories are getting so faded on that right now. It's not even funny anymore. That was a whole lifetime ago at this point.
And that was, like I said, that just hanging out and having fun. I mean, we all have stories. That's how I met you guys, obviously. Mm-hmm. And we've had countless memories, countless troops, and a lot of fun stories, a lot of stories we probably can't remember, and some we shouldn't. But
some that never should be retold.
some we remember, but we don't ever want anyone else to remember them.
Some PG details that will never come out.
I'd have to tell you, but that would entail your demise. So.
That's right.
just go ahead and retire.
I can't say I ever had any of those types of stories that I don't ever want anyone retold, but I have heard some of those stories about, like, the Garmin brothers.
Oh, goodness.
There were some, other people but them, just as an example, but there were stories about somebody walked into their room and found somebody else in the middle of something embarrassing, maybe
probably one of the biggest I don't even want to say it.
Don't.
It's the bar tab story. Where we had the whole top floor of Fridays on the International Drive rented out, and it was supposed to be an open bar, drink and drown. Well, nobody discussed what drinks were allowed to be part of that drink and drown.
Something like Mary got.
So at the end of the night, I mean, we had guys that were getting 16-ounce pints of straight Jägermeister.
We were.
And then it came time to
Jaeger.
I know, but that was the big thing back then, was the Jaeger.
I know who it was.
We all know who it was, but there were down to less than 10 of us there, and like the manager's coming up. He's like, well, here's your bar tab. And we're like, whoa, everybody should have paid their tab. It was drink and drown. And there's like this $3,000 bill. And we're like, all right, how much cash can we scrape together? And I think we were never invited back again.
No.
Yeah,
I
I know.
so remember that.
Yeah.
Because Mary actually had to get driven home by Jerry's wife because she passed out in the bathroom because she had drank so much. I was still sitting there drinking when all that happened, and I was like, "Oh my god!"
I remember the drink and drown. I didn't drink that much that
Neither
night.
did I
really
really.
didn't.
But I
I
mean,
mean, it's like, woo, open bar.
everybody's
free
going
bar,
around saying,
yeah. And
"Here,
you're like, nah.
throw some money in this hat." I'm like, "Why? We got to pay the tab." What tab?
Yeah, there shouldn't have been a tab.
There shouldn't have been a
It,
tab.
it was a bad miscommunication
Well, I mean,
from
somebody
top
has
down.
to pay the tab.
Well,
you know.
it did. I mean, I threw in 100 at that.
Well, whoever organized the open bar, how were they going to pay for it?
Well, we were supposed to pay for it individually. Like
Right.
we had
so
wristbands
that's
or
not
whatever.
an open bar.
Right.
That is literally the opposite of an open bar.
Right, but nobody ever told us. That's just it. We all paid our $20 or
So
$25
whoever was
for the
planning
drink
it
and
and
drown.
came up
Right.
with the idea of calling it an open bar screwed
Yeah.
everybody.
Well, it was drink and drown. That's what it was supposed to be. Mm-hmm. But
that's not an open bar.
It's not. There were just so many miscommunications all along the way, and it's just like when it came
People are like,
time to pay the
"Oh,
piper, it was.
I hear my mom calling. I got to run out to the car real quick. Or let me go get my wallet.
It's like
And
you're
you
30
never see
years
him again.
old.
Yeah.
You never see him. It's like, oh, he's got the last man out. You got the tab. What? No. But
Go ahead and drop your coin,
no,
buddy.
man, that's
Actually, we didn't even have coins then.
almost reason to get violent with somebody over a bar
Well,
tab that big.
well, we did have one coin, the
God.
original 501st coin, which is now kind of like a unicorn of the coins. I've got, I had two of them. I traded for another one, but I still have one of the very first original 501st coin that Alvin had done, and you can tell because of the white lettering around the border, whereas everyone else's was either-
Nobody cares about
Yeah.
those
Yeah.
little
Yeah.
details.
No.
Nobody cares. If
Yeah.
you're into coining,
It doesn't matter.
coin
anymore.
either of them. If you see them at an event, there's a 50-50 chance you might get a drink out of it.
No, I have my
But-
coin
no,
with me.
I
Actually,
don't.
right now I don't, but I have access to it within 60 seconds if I got coined right now.
Yeah, I got
So,
mine in my
yeah.
console of the car.
Yeah. If you want to coin me and put me on a timer, you're just
Coining-
gonna owe me a drink. That's all.
Yeah.
Coining is, I thought it was dumb when I was in the Army. I thought it was dumb in the 501st.
But
It's-
did you benefit from the coining?
It depends on the situation.
You've never benefited. You never got a drink. Never
No.
won.
I could care less about
I've
benefiting
never
from
carried
it.
a coin, so I've never
Oh.
won a coin challenge.
It's like you can sit there and coin me all you want. I'm still not buying you a drink.
Yeah, absolutely.
I get it.
There's just certain coinings that I'd rather be the person that coins you. I could care less if I get the drink. It's
well-
the way they get done and the strategy behind it. Sometimes it's like playing tag.
Yeah.
It
I
really
can
is.
understand the game of it all, and I can
Right.
understand the people who enjoy collecting it. Like Chris loves his coins.
Yeah,
has
sure. Have fun collecting
racks and
it.
Racks and,
I've got a bunch. I carry
talking
two
about
with
the,
me.
The minute differences between the coins generationally and things like I can understand it, but it's like,
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not big into the merchandise at all, really.
yeah.
Not at all. I think it's neat. People gift it to us all the time. It goes in my workbench drawer. I look at it and go, "Oh, that's cool. I remember this guy gave it to me." Okay, cool.
Yep.
And that's about it. I mean, I'm not a materialistic person
Yeah.
whenever it
That's-
comes to that stuff.
When we go to cons, my wife and I look for really cool Star Wars art
Right.
to put on the wall
Same,
in our
yep.
living room.
Same.
We don't care about the tchotchkes, and we have little things like that my mother has given me over the years, or random stuff. Like somebody gave my wife a set of autographs of Mark Hamill, Carrie Fisher, and Harrison Ford, and it was really nice, framed with photos of stills from the movies and the certificates of authenticity for the. But we would never go pay for autographs. We don't.
Way
It's
back
like,
in the day, like
okay.
what Kevin was talking about when the celebrities were more fluid, those kind of autographs were different than the way they do them now, where you're like setting reservations and paying $300 for
Yeah.
a group photo and
Or-
all that. It's
or,
like,
like-
no, it's like, hey, dude, nice to meet you. Here's $20. I'll take that picture. Yeah, cool. Shake your hand.
Or,
all right,
or
cool.
some
Nice
of them,
meeting you.
like,
Bye.
I have, some photographs or an autograph on a photo of Deep Roy. But the photo that we chose the day we got that autograph from him at the convention was his part in Never Ending Story.
Oh yeah.
Because, I grew up, so many movies Deep Roy was in, and they were movies that shaped my childhood and things like that. I don't go get somebody's autograph just because they were in one of the Star Wars movies or episodes.
I agree.
It doesn't matter to me that unless that role was something really amazing, or that actor has also been in lots of other stuff that was really important to me personally. That's it.
Yeah, because I remember meeting that guy who played Atreyu. Because I grew up on the Never-Ending Story, and I was like, yeah, that movie. If you watch it, that movie hits hard, especially during that Artrex thing in the swamp. And
I'm glad y'all have wonderful memories of Neverending Story, because my sister wanted to watch it all the time, and I got so sick of it.
The only reason why, when he was mentioning it, and I saw it, and I got to meet the guy, I was like, this can't be the guy, because it doesn't look like him. I was like, what's he doing now? He's like, I build motorcycles in Miami. I'm like,
Yeah.
dude, that's awesome. But he doesn't even look like his character.
Yeah.
He just, whatever. So that's cool. But anyway.
But yeah, so the whole consumerism that is behind a lot of fandoms today, we're touching on that.
Consume more merchandise.
Yeah, buy more merchandise, buy more shit, and it's like, I don't know.
It's like all you care about is the money. Like in the Wayne world, start putting stickers all over here.
No.
Plastic, glue.
Members mark.
Kind of like with the A5 logo.
Actually,
Yeah, these guys suck.
I'm wearing this shirt today only because it happened to be the last shirt today's laundry day.
Yeah.
It was the last clean shirt that I pulled out of the laundry basket and was like, all right, well, this is the last shirt today's laundry day. Let me go get the dirty laundry and start a cycle.
I know how
Save
you
the
feel
best
because
for
I
last.
just moved into my new place. I have a washer. I have no dryer. So I actually have rope, which
Got to set up the
It's-
old-fashioned clothesline out
the
in
rope that I
backyard.
had though is the rope that you make Boba Fett's
Oh,
belt with
sheesh.
for the Mandalorian. I have a bunch of that rope, so I'm like, well, it's not like I'm using it. So I went and took it outside and strung it between
Strung
some
it,
trees, and I started hanging everything out that way. And it was a sunny day, except it rained today, so they're still drying.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, okay, well, I don't have any clothes, so how often can we wear white before,
We all know how to use Febreze.
That's right.
That's right.
Yeah, with our
Those
Bins.
bodysuits are expensive after a while, so 4-day convention, you're wearing the same costume 2-3 times, it's soaked through wet after the first time. Yeah, you got to Febreze it.
Why is your unitard melting in your hands?
Something like a spandex bodysuit
Yeah,
or
straight
whatever.
spandex is one thing, but
you take that to the sink in the hotel room and you hand wash that sumbitch in the sink.
yeah, and because they
and
do
hang it
dry
up on the
pretty
shower
much
curtain,
overnight.
and
They
it'll
dry,
dry
yeah.
overnight. Yeah.
Yeah,
Until it eventually starts to dissolve, or you start seeing the white salt stains and everything, and it starts to crystallize.
Well, then you're not washing it well enough.
Oh, well,
You're supposed to be washing those salt crystallizations from the body sweat out. That's the whole point.
and that's the reason why when I wore my stormtrooper armor, I didn't go like full on accurate with the
Chemical
rubber
gloves.
chemical gloves,
Oh,
because all that
fuck
does is
no.
cause. That's just a
causes
ladle.
pickle.
Every time you tip your arm up, the sweat pours
pours
out.
out.
Yeah.
You're like, ooh, where's this come from? Then all of a sudden you start grabbing stuff and you hear that little
Squish. Yeah.
and it's like squeaky sounds. You're like, okay, well, this is nasty. And you just walk around going, stop. What are you doing? Nothing. I'm just trying to keep my hands dry at this point.
I had a Batman Begins suit, wore it to an event in November. It was cool outside. Came back in at the end of the event to get dried off, pull off my boots, take off my socks, and wring the sweat out of the socks.
Well,
It was just terrible.
and you might remember because I showed you this picture the other day, and I believe you were in there too when we did that trooping event at Sam's during the middle of the summer, and we were like just pouring
Oh,
sweat.
they took
and
us to
Sam's
the
was like, "You
freezer."
took us into the freezer."
We were still sweating in the
I
freezer.
vaguely remember
We were-
something.
I was
like
wearing
that.
Vader at that, and it was just so hot. There's a knee right there. All right, we're back on.
The dangers of podcasting.
Yeah.
Scoot into the table and take a knee out.
Oh, goodness, my funny bone.
Yeah, rolling your elbow off the edge of the table. Oh, that's a funny move.
goodness. Oh, I'm going to have to call in sick the next week.
Us-
Which,
us
by the way,
old-timers.
like this podcast only takes up maybe an hour to 2 hours per session that we ever do it. We only do it once a week to once every 2 to 3 weeks, depending on what's going on. So this really doesn't affect anything. It's always done at the end of the workday. That's why you see me so energetic.
And so covered in paint
Yeah.
and shit like
This
that.
is from weathering Braden's Shore Trooper today. So, yeah. You know, one day I'll come in like a 3-piece suit. No, it's hot.
He's been working with plaster and he's got all the dust on his face.
Oh, goodness.
So let's get to work, people. We're like, ah. Mike, are you okay there? But
No,
do we
I'm
have
not.
a conversation here? Take this cup.
That's right. That's right. Take this cup.
Is there liquor in it?
Only what comes out of your own hose supply.
Maybe that's what we should do for the next episode. We're just going to sit here and drink.
Drink and drown during a podcast.
Drink.
That's right.
See how long you
The
can go before
podcast
one
will
person
be
passes out.
over whenever we're all passed out.
The
No.
podcast will be like, hey guys.
Those are only funny for like the first 10 minutes. And then after that, it's like, this is not funny anymore.
Okay.
Drunk people are only, like, really drunk people are only funny to other drunk people.
That is
They're
correct.
not funny to sober people.
That is 100% correct. Drunk people, when you're sober, are so annoying.
Yes. Yes, they are.
Don't look at me like I'm drunk because I hadn't had a
No,
drink.
no, I'm just thinking about my time with a badge, all the drunks I had to deal with in
sheesh.
Panama City Beach,
I'm
Florida.
not slurring my speech.
All the
Yeah,
spring
you
breaks
are.
that I had to work through.
Oh, yeah. I have my stories.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, hey.
The ones
make a
you'd
bet.
see,
Let's say,
yeah.
Let's see. Who can make them tip over in under 5 minutes? I'll take that bet. You go up there and you start talking. You're like, so, what are you doing?
That's right. Talking
Are
to
you
them,
okay?
doing your own
Yeah.
sway, and they start swaying with
and
you.
It's like, what's the time? 3 minutes. Yes. We're eating good tonight, people.
Well, to wrap things up for the day, these are the kind of experiences you will have whenever you have half a lifetime worth of friends. Thank you for being my friend. And costume experiences and going to conventions and all that stuff that you do. So these are the stories that you will tell, and some of them are stories you will not tell.
And
Isn't that right,
and
James?
to a certain extent, yeah, the stories you'll never tell. To a certain extent, it's kind of a plea to the I guess the potential 501st members of tomorrow is when you join, understand that, you know, it's Plastic Spaceman Club. It's not real life. It's not the actual military. Nobody is going to put their armor on and, you know, stand in formation to look good. You know, everybody's there to have a good time. And there's nothing wrong, you know, if somebody wants to have a good time in the armor that they're wearing to have a good time in. Like, just relax. Let people put their hair down. It's a convention, you know, or whatever. You know, it's not an LFL event or something like that.
And we're and you're gonna just make friends.
Absolutely. That is the best way to make friends is have a drink with somebody after hours at a convention.
Yeah.
Do it while you're still wearing your armor.
Yeah.
You know?
Where are you from? How long you been out? Kind of like we just sat here talking.
Yeah.
You know, just that's how you meet people, and
You end up
it's how you make lifelong friends of people that you might see once a year.
I have friends from MegaCon 2004 that I have not seen since MegaCon 2004.
And they're still friends.
And
we
they're
still talk,
still
we still
friends,
text,
yeah.
we still email. It's like we're still there.
And if you
Yeah.
ever meet up with them, it's like no time.
Oh yeah,
has passed
no time,
whatsoever.
not at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, I still get texts from people all the time. I got text from well, one old friend the other day. Just out of the blue, and we're just texting back and forth. All right, bye.
Yeah.
That's it. You know, we'll
So,
hear
yeah.
from you again in a couple years.
Enjoy the costumes. Enjoy the memories that you'll be able to make. So,
As
yeah.
long as you can remember them.
Enjoy some of the memories that you won't remember.
As we listen to these last couple of brain cells rattling around in here fighting for dominance.
or some of the stories of alcohol involvement, you know.
No, we're all sober.
You may not remember
Yeah.
some things.
Oh. No,
Some
we're
people
good boys.
Get some really good meds because they're in the hospital.
Yeah. Be careful about combining meds and alcohol. That's dangerous
No,
territory.
no.
This is
That's
not medical
dangerous
advice. Do
territory.
what you want.
No.
That's the delirium talking, not the Dilaudid.
All right, y'all. We'll see you next time.